Denver versus uThermal. We're going to do a few of these matchups, so we'll do the most popular ones on the polls to keep on voting. But for now, to the bottom right-hand side, we do start with the red Terran player from Team Liquid. This is uThermal here in game number 1 of this TvZ best of 3. And to the top left-hand side, the purple Zerg is Denver. Can I donate the bits to myself? Only if the Twitch Prime is... If you have Twitch Prime on an account that isn't your account that's partnered or affiliated with Twitch, then I guess you could. How do I find the bits on mobile, asked Demoniac Milk? I will check right now, live on the stream. I'm going to find out with you. I'm pretty sure there's just a button that's like bits next to the emotes button, I kind of feel like. Let me see. Let me just pick a random channel. Can you get bits on mobile? I feel like you can get bits on mobile. I feel like I don't have the version of Twitch which lets me do it though. Yeah, I feel like I don't have the version of Twitch that lets me do it on my phone. Huh. I'm almost sure you can get bits on mobile nowadays though. Anyways, that was useless. That was completely useless for me. Anyways, guys, we're getting set up and we're looking to see what's going to be happening here in this TvZ best of 3 as we get set up and we get ready to go. You can get bits on mobile. Yeah, I really knew you could. I think my Twitch version is just out of date or something. So, yeah, that or I'm just on the wrong page, which is also a pretty major possibility in all honesty. I mean, yeah, it's definitely a possibility. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I'm pretty silly sometimes when it comes to seeing things and stuff like that. Anyways, we're kicking off into game number 1, best of 3, and just looking to see what these players are going to get up to in this Terran versus Zerg, uThermal versus Denver. Denver from Romantic Gaming, a team and a player who's definitely kind of coming up on the radar over time. Romantic with a deep run into the round of 4 of the WardiTV Team League Season 7. And then got taken down by Team Liquid to be finishing their run in the semi-finals. But a great run until then. Very, very impressive, as we are going to be seeing this drone gets popped and a few links continue to chase that single Reaper away. We have a factory on the way up in the main base, and we're going to be seeing the reactor coming down the barracks. Obviously from uThermal, this is looking like a pretty generic, just Reaper expand into the second gas, ready to potentially start up a starport or something else along the way. So reactor coming up, going to be finishing in a moment or two, allows for the factory to swap onto it. Tech lab on the barracks will allow the starport to swap onto it in the near future. Start setting up in towards the Banshees potentially, or just the fake of Banshees while you actually go in towards like a Viking and a Liberator. As we are just going to be the, well, having this Reaper, just keeping track of what's going on. He's seen the third hatchery, he knows what's up. We've seen an evolution chamber coming down here from Denver in the main base, so we'll see what he wants to try and do with this. Obviously the Evo chamber with, and interestingly, kind of coming down this early, I guess just a Carapace upgrade coming through. Applies to either Lings or Roaches. A melee upgrade! Ooh. I'm not sure about the melee upgrade. That's a little bit different. Oh, that's very different, honestly. Intriguing. I'm intrigued to see what comes up from this melee upgrade. I actually really am. So I guess we'll keep our eyes on it and see what's going to happen. As we do see a Viking coming through up on the main base. And, yeah, just going to be seeing Lings on the way out. A lot of Lings. I mean, I wonder if you turn this into some sort of aggressive play with the melee upgrade. Usually you go Carapace early because it benefits you if you go Lings or then maybe even Roaches later on. And it also just gives you the kind of, you know, Carapace against early Marines is very good because you generally tank more shots than you deal with the Zerglings. It's a very interesting choice here from Denver. He throws down a Baneling Nest. I mean, I do wonder if maybe just an aggressive way of playing this is a possibility here. On the other side of the map, Sim does start on a new tech lab. Extra barracks on the way down. A Banshee's on the way up beyond a Viking. It's not going to be with cloaks. It's kind of like just a defensive Banshee here. Just try and kind of keep units away. In the next few moments. Lots of Lings on the way out. A couple of barracks, as we mentioned, from uThermal, and that'll give him his mid-game production here until he gets the third CC up. Then running, then he can go into his 4th and 5th racks as well. You can see that factory's getting ready to jump back onto the tech lab to go in towards a siege tank. So many units here from Denver. I mean, this has to be some sort of an attack, right? I mean, 22 more Lings. He's cut workers at 36. uThermal's taking a worker lead. He needs to fill this gap. An engineering bay would fit quite nicely. And we are probably going to see something like an engineering bay as a Way for him to kind of fill this gap up. He's kept his Hellions at home as well, so very passive from uThermal. Doesn't see just how many Lings are really on the way out from his opponent. But on the plus side, it means the Hellions haven't been killed off, so they're going to be able to be part of this defense now, as we do have that Overlord picked off, and that is a supply block for Denver. So Denver supply blocked here, so we're going to be seeing a few more Overlords coming on out. It's a lot of Lings that are about to hit into this natural expansion, man. The Hellions are moving out. And maybe the worst time, Banelings are morphing in on the left. So this is a +1 melee Baneling bust. Wow. Well, let's see what's about to happen. Tank will siege. I mean, the tank's just so far forwards as well. The Hellions have to pull back here. The Marines are so far forwards too. And again, uThermal just didn't have the information that this was coming. And as he gets cleaned up at the front, well, there isn't even a wall off in his natural, so these Banes can go straight up the ramp and give access to the main base. They'll probably even get themselves some SCVs as well, potentially. That tank comes in, but obviously it's a full surround, and Denver just unseen in this attack. uThermal completely unprepared for it, and that's going to be the, well, the entirety of these Lings coming in. SCVs are just going to keep on dropping here. A lot of damage being done. So many SCVs are falling, and that's going to be a game called. Denver takes game number 1 of this battle. Do a couple of cheeky games as well, but for now let's cast some StarCraft, because that's what a lot of you guys are here for, as this is going to be a very early gas. Is that just an extractor trick? Maybe, but then surely you should start to console the extractor. No, it's not, is it? It's not even an extractor trick, because it doesn't even go to 15 drones. God, I'm so silly. This is actually a 13-12 here from Denver, spawning from a romantic game into the bottom right hand side as our purple Zerg. Again, Denver. And to the top left hand side, the red Terran player from Team Liquid. This is uThermal. Alright, so as we get this set up and ready to party, let's have a look to see how uThermal's going to open here. He's actually going to open with the command center first. Now, this has been something we've been seeing a lot of lately, where you have something like a fast gas pool hatch against a fast CC first, and usually a CC first instead of a Rax command center. Usually you think, oh my god, it's going to die to aggression, but actually, it's a lot better against aggression because the CC finishes before the Lings arrive to deny the command center from building. So in a very weird way, this actually works out a little bit better from uThermal. Now, I will say that these 6 Zerglings are going to be a little bit faster than the generic pool first, in which that is 100% true. But I still don't think they arrive before the command center finishes. I mean, think about it. Especially on a map like Neon Violet Square. They pop out now, and they've got 30 seconds to get across the map. It's about a 35-second rush distance, so they shouldn't be able to make it here in time. I don't think these Zerglings are going to be able to get here and to really make much happen right now, as we do have the Lings coming across. There's no way they get there in time. And also right now, because it's a big map, the Overlords don't know there's no Reaper. So these Lings aren't even going to go direct. They're going to try and dodge around the side and try and go up the left in towards the natural in this way, which just takes a few extra seconds. Even if it's just 2 or 3, it is just those couple extra seconds. And while uThermal has his orbital on the way, he's going to have a wall off here soon, but not yet. Link speed coming in. This is actually really bad for Denver, because if he doesn't do something to link speed, and the fact he's making extra Lings, takes a gold base by the way, then this is really bad. So all uThermal has to do, make a wall off, hold the high ground for a little while here, as he is going to get the depot down. He raises this one, and there it is. Denver is locked out, and ooh, well, he actually breaks through the depot, but Engineering Bay comes down. uThermal with the clutch back-to-back buildings. And again, his natural just sits here happy as Larry. Isn't going to get taken down, isn't going to be cancelled. Maybe he has to lift, but he drops the mule into the main base. He even gets the economy off of it. And what an opening for uThermal. Takes no damage at all against a 15-worker Zerg player. Taking a gold base now, maybe to play a bit of catch-up, but throwing down a Baneling nest. More Lings still on the way. It looks as though Denver wants to try and go for a Baneling bust all in to follow this up. While uThermal, all he has to do is reinforce this side, and he should be completely safe all over again. He gets a cycle on the way. He will just start to make some Marines as well. And he will get these couple of units up to, just really kind of kick off into this. The starport comes down as well. I mean, uThermal's just looking great. All he has to do is deal with the Bane Bust, and he has all of the tools to do that, really. I mean, a cycle on the Marines. He should be okay. He should have the units out because it's a very delayed Bane Burst, right? He didn't immediately continue mining gas. He pulled out of gas for a while. So, Denver, a little bit of trouble as this Overlord comes off down to the south side, pushed away by the Cyclone there. And the Cyclone just going to come forwards and poke and prod. The CC will actually try and move down to the low ground, which will give uThermal a slight little heads up about the fact that these Banelings are here. So now he's going to see it. Oh, he just saw them. Now he sees them again. Barrack's going to move around. Okay, so uThermal At this stage, he might just have to pull back. He's got the Hellions on the way. Oh, that Reaper Grenade buys an extra little second or so. All the Hellions go down on the Warlock. Oh, sorry, the Balins go down the Warlock. And these Hellions just have to sneak around, hold position on the SCVs. Those Lings will not do anywhere near enough. And uThermal will just be able to hold on. 14 workers ahead. And he is in such a strong position right now. So this was really good, and again, it's so funny how this works out that a command center first is actually just straight up better than a Reaper expand in terms of dealing with this kind of aggression. It doesn't logically kind of seem like, you know, sound as though it should make sense, but it does kind of just add up like that way. It's really cool, and magical thing StarCraft 2, isn't it? It has some weird outcomes sometimes. As you're going to see, well, that one Balin really shouldn't be able to connect on anything here. And as units come down, I mean, he's just going to continue fighting. A grenade goes off. Maybe the Balin connects on a couple of Hellions. He actually gets a lot of damage with that Balin connection, but he doesn't actually kill anything. One Hellion goes down on the low ground, and that's going to be about it. Now, we are going to be seeing this gold base is mining from Denver. That's going to be one way in which he can try and catch back up. But, at that, you know, that being said, at the same time here, uThermal is going to have so much harassment potential because this gold base is so far away from the main and natural, and it's so easy to drop in the gold and then lift up and drop in the natural afterwards. Liberate gets himself a couple of workers, forces some queens to pull away, cancels a unit. And uThermal, I mean, just setting up into free bases with such an eco lead. He's going to have a Banshee out to harass a little bit as well. The Hellions can harass too. All of this should just keep Denver far enough behind that uThermal should be leading, moving on through this game. Reaper coming out through the centers. We are going to be seeing a few of these SCVs going to repair that Hellion up in this lair. Starting up in the main base. Armory or two coming down. So we're going to be seeing mech as a follow-up here from uThermal. He lands his third CC down in the top left-hand corner. So again, it's a super safe third base to take as well. I mean, if you're going to play mech especially, you don't really have the gas already to throw down the extra factories. But you do have the minerals to probably throw down a command center. So you build the CC, you take it in a base where you're not going to overextend. It gives you the 5th and 6th gases, which makes the mech play even more powerful. And it just gives you those gases a nice little timing here, and allows you to keep up with the factory production. Now, as a tech lab builds here as well, we're probably going to see those two factories able to lift up and land onto those tech labs for the 4s. The starport will maybe move away towards a reactor. I mean, at this point, if this Banshee finishes, you can probably just lift it up, start to build the reactor, and the medevacs will still be on time to lift those 4s up, because the 4 build time really does take a long time to build. So, we're going to be seeing the starport and medevacs moving away, starting up that reactor as mentioned, and he gets ready for the 4 drop in the near future. The 2 Banshees were actually hidden for a while here. Just trying to keep those hidden as long as possible, maybe catch Denver a little bit off guard. We are going to be seeing the few Hellions from uThermal moving forwards and not quite finding anything just yet. To scan into the natural just to see what's up. He's actually got the armories right for the upgrade, so he can morph these Hellbats in, and he'll get himself a few Ling kills. It's not amazing amounts of damage, but it actually distracts the queens and allows him to get himself a queen kill. Now a second one going to go down. The transfuses have already been used, so these queens go down. There's going to be some drones dropping in the natural expansion here, and that's quite a few drones dropping. He might even get himself the kill on the Spore Crawler. The queens, though, are going to be able to come back in action, although you can target this first queen straight away. Now he'll be able to fight this second queen too, and he'll win this fight very convincingly. Multiple queens going down. 2 more drones pop. That's another Spore that's just going to have to cancel, otherwise it's wasted minerals. And Denver is so far behind here in game number 2. uThermal, one hell of a lead off of the initial defense into a great follow-up little bit of harassment. Those Banshees just going to keep on working this expansion as well. Spore and a queen coming down from the main base. There should be a cleanup here. Maybe this Banshee sticks around to kill that queen, and he will get the kill. Maybe a drone as well. Does he just want to keep the Banshee alive? Looks like he wants to keep the Banshee alive, as there are those 4s to push away the roaches, so they're not even going to be a threat or an issue. Second medevac a little bit delayed for some reason, maybe a supply block or so, but when that pops out, those 4s can move on the map, and it's another wave of harassment that Denver has to deal with from a heavy deficit. It's not going to be an easy defense for him to make here. Not at all. 1-1 vehicle upgrade is going to be finishing here from uThermal. As you just see a few more roaches coming up the left-hand side. 4th base building out in location as well. Pure confidence from uThermal, and as he sees those roaches, he can just turn his 4s to the left slightly and actually come in and use them to defend and protect this 4th base. The Banshee kept alive from earlier starts to show its power, its use, although it didn't dodge away from the Corrosive Battle, so it goes down pretty quickly. He did target down the Ravagers, so Ravagers going down. This is already an expensive attack here from Denver, and uThermal buying himself all the time in the world just to set up in towards the 4th base. Loses the 4 though. That's a little bit of a shame. Fourth base will finish, however, and now how about the Cyclones? It's enough to turn this away, and as the Roaches have to run, the 4 can actually drop down and pick up some free damage. Nice lift up to avoid the missile-based attack of the Roaches. Projectile attacks in StarCraft 2, when they fire at something, the damage doesn't get applied until the projectile connects. So if the 4 isn't there when the projectile connects, it doesn't take damage. So when the Roaches start to shoot, if you're fast enough, the medevac can lift that 4 up, and then the projectiles, the missiles that the Roaches shot out, they don't connect on anything, and they don't actually do any damage. It's something that happens a lot, and it's a lot of the reasons you see kind of Warp Prism Micro with Immortals. It's a lot of the reason you see Warp Prism Micro, Medevac Micro with tanks and so on. Projectiles from Stalkers and Roaches, they're all dodged by moves like that. On a small scale, it's definitely worth it. On a larger scale, obviously, you can't just avoid every single missile fired, so it becomes a lot less worthwhile and better instead just have your units down and continually fighting. Roaches and Ravagers gathering up. I say gathering up, I mean this is all there was. They just backed away from that top left-hand side, and well, Denver's up to 66 workers, but you cannot really deny that uThermal is in control of the game. As he finishes up 2-2 mech weapons, I imagine his push across the map will start up. And yes, he's given Denver a hell of a lot of breathing room. He's given Denver a lot of time to just sort of sit back and do what he wants. But one of the first things you can do as a mech player is to attack too soon. By attacking too early, if your opponent decided to kind of cut drones on like 40 and just go for one big follow-up attack, suddenly you lose your very low tank count. Suddenly the Hellbats aren't very effective against a mass of Roaches. Suddenly you'll lose yourself a base and maybe even your game. But in this way of playing it out, uThermal knows that, okay, if Denver's behind already, he's going to stay behind if I macro correctly. And, you know, with a little bit of harassment here and there, he's kept himself at that sort of point where he's able to basically max out before Denver. And when Denver maxes out, it's also going to be on a Roach-based army. So by setting up on towards a Roach-based army, he's going to be very low tech. He's not going to have the usual setup that he would need to deal with a maxed out mech army. And all of this is just kind of allowing uThermal, therefore, to basically still be in full control of this game, not actually really be in any trouble in terms of, oh my god, you're going to be able to, like, you know, you're going to, like, you know, be able to get back in, because he isn't. And losing a couple of overseers here is going to be a supply block. Denver with Roaches and Ravagers coming to the middle map. Looks as though he might try and group this in the center to try and start up some sieges, slow us down wherever possible. He's also going to attack in towards the 4th base, which is about orbital command. Very, very... This is a little bit greedy maybe from uThermal, but honestly with a couple of tanks here, they're going to kill off so many of these Roaches so quick. As uThermal comes all the way around the right side, he's actually not going to find a base here, but he can siege up on the high ground, deny this space from mining. Reinforcements of uThermal start to come through, and they'll start to be the end of those Roaches, so they will start to drop. Hellions on the high ground start to roast those drones, and, well, obviously, again, once this high ground position is taken, you can't really break this as Denver. uThermal can use this position to start pushing down in towards the natural expansion as well. So while he doesn't immediately find himself bases, he puts himself in a good spot, as these Hellions aren't in Hellbat mode, though. It's definitely one way in which Denver's going to take a bit of a better fight. Corrosive bars are good. Some of the tanks are very far back. Drops the Vikings as well to continue fighting here. Denver losing a lot, and those Ravagers are very expensive to lose. 100 gas apiece for those Ravagers. They really are anything but cheap, as we're going to see some corrosive bars. Vikings, one of them falls. Another couple taking a shot or two. Tank fire is good, though, to kill off 2 of those Ravagers from a distance. Denver looking for a way to maybe try and engage into this position, try and break this out. But there's Vikings on the ground as well. They're just going to tank a little bit for the siege tanks, which themselves will now have a chance to get a lot of damage done. And we do see maybe a cleanup from Denver, but uThermal just has another entire army ready to go back at home, I would imagine, here in the next few moments. And that army is going to siege and get ready to push across the map, because again, Denver has been trading so much that he has to keep on building Roaches. And Roaches are just never going to be able to trade well enough against this mech army to give Denver the momentum back that he needs. uThermal also took down a base during this, so it's one less mining base that Denver has. And the fact that this base is a gold means it's mining out already, which basically puts Denver on kind of like 2-ish bases. If this one comes up, he's back on 3, but will he ever mine from that base? I'm not too sure at this stage of the game. I really don't know if you'll be able to. Tanks coming in across with Bile is good to hit a couple of tanks on the back end. A few of these Hellions continue to come on through and just roasting away. Another Ravager, another couple of Roaches getting picked away at. And still just pushing down to the south side. We are going to be seeing uThermal picking up the GG, the well played. He takes game number 2, and this series gets tied on up 1-1. Of course, guys, if you are a Twitch Prime user, you can subscribe to the channel for free. You get all of the sub benefits, including access to the subscriber channel on Discord, where we post regular replay packs. There's currently 200 plus replays available for you in there. You also get yourself the benefit of using all the Wardi emotes. You can use Wardi Kapopa. and all the other bits and pieces. So do go check that out if you're a Twitch Prime user. You haven't used your Twitch Prime sub this month, we'd be more than happy to take it off your hands, give it a nice little home. It helps to support the stream and the content which we are producing. So if you sounds good to you, we'd love to have you part of it. And of course, very limited time deal apparently. Twitch Prime users can now also purchase 500 bits, which is $5 worth of bits for just $1. So if you're a Twitch Prime user and you haven't cheered before, or you're not too interested, but maybe you do have $1 to spare, your $1 can essentially be $5 worth of support to a streamer, or $1 of support to 5 different streamers. Depends how you want to split up your bits. Do get on top of that while you can, guys. Take a chance to support some streamers for cheaper than usual. It always goes a long way to helping us create content and all the rest of it. For now, though, let's go into this game. It's game 3 of Denver and uThermal. To the top right-hand side, the purple Zerg is Denver from Romandy Gaming. And to the bottom left-hand side from Team Liquid, our red Terran player is uThermal, as we set up into game 3 of this best of 3. Seeing who wins this one out. Bands and Cow in the chat with the cheer 1 says, have a bit of fun. See what you did there. You see, what would have been smarter would have been if you'd said have a cheer 1 of fun, because that actually would have literally been have a bit of fun. And I would have been really confused, but then I probably would have figured it out, and then we would have been like, aha! We figured it out, boys! We got it! Thank you so much for the 1 bit, mate. Every little bit counts. Every 1 bit adds up. You see, the early game of this TvZ, very similar to what we've seen previously. Factory, starport are down the double gas, so no super fast third base. As we do see this lone marine just pushing away this overlord through the top side of the main of uThermal. Won't get a kill, but just pushes away from further scouting information. While scouting information is aplenty for uThermal, sees the third hatchery of Denver on the way up. He'll be fairly happy with that from the Reaper. And maybe he can jump into the main base here to try and scout for a road drone or a fast lair or something. And something along those lines. Viking coming up on the starport, and another couple of Hellions popping out to maybe start actually taking some map control and backing up that Reaper. And 2 more Hellions on the way up as well. Baneliness will drop down in the natural expansion, so Denver already starting to make some choices here as to how he wants his game to look. So Baneliness coming through, as we do have another couple of Queens just on the way out, and that Reaper pops in towards the main base, and we'll be trying to get some damage done. A couple of Lings will try and jump onto that Reaper, and we'll be able to chase that Reaper down. So nice scouting though. I mean, sees the lack of a lair, sees a Baneling nest. He has full information as to what Denver is up to at this stage of the game, so he will know very much so what is and what is not going to be able to happen over the next few minutes. So great information for him here, as we'll see a command center from uThermal dropping down on the natural expansion. The Viking comes in and actually will find itself an Overlord. So an Overlord of uThermal starting to be, a Viking of uThermal going to start killing this Overlord. Denver sees the 3rd CC at least, so he knows that much. You'll see the factory still producing a couple of Hellions. You'll see the starport without an upgrade on it. So very typical of just going to be some kind of, Hellion or Viking Liberator production, and then moving away in towards potentially the extra factories, as already the armory is on the way down. So uThermal making this choice to play mech here once again. You're not going to be having the lair is coming through as well in the main base. So again, I mean, at this stage, 5 minutes in, it's really everything that's starting to come on through, right? It's starting to be that kind of investment. My screen freezes up, that's not good. It's starting to be that investment into the mid game, everything is kind of going as you expect. There's only so much you can do without a lair, so the Zerg starts to get that ready to go. And obviously it opens up new pathways for him, roach speed being one of them. Stuff like the Hydraless Den will be very important against a mech player. If we're going to go super crazy, maybe we see some Infestation Pit and some Swarm Hose potentially. A lot of possibilities, although right now Roach one will also go a long way to helping out with this mech army, as we do see the Liberator Sieges up for the first time, although maybe the second time actually. Spore and Queens in position, so unfortunately that Liberator picked the wrong fight. We do see Lings at the front being roasted, so while the Hellions aren't maybe doing economic damage, they are getting rid of a few Zerglings and just keeping the map control and just able to kind of keep track of what's going on. Another couple of factories just coming on through, and as they get onto tech labs, obviously the floor production should begin. The reactor's already on the starport, so you can start up a couple of medevacs, and again, that 4-drop really is just the expected follow-up here from uThermal, as you do see a lot of Hellions now diving this right-hand side. I have to say, there isn't really anything ready here over here at the moment. A couple of drones going to start dropping, a lot of drones going to start dropping. And that's 9 workers killed so far, now up to 12. And that's going to continue, as we're going to be seeing that Baneling Gets picked off also the Roacher. First Roach trying to pop out will help. Oh my god, 20 workers killed. All of this on the third base as well. These Hellions may just want to run away now. They don't necessarily need to dive the natural as Roaches come out especially. A lot of these Hellions are low. You can get them back home. They're all in yellow to red health. If you get them back home, repair them up, they're going to be good to go again. Then maybe they can make another successful dive on the third base or so. 22 workers killed already. I mean, uThermal's got to be happy with this. He's got to be looking at this as a, oh my god, what a way to start things out. What a way to get things going. Very solid start so far as you see those Hellions morph into Hellbats. It felt like they moved very fast. It's like, do they have smart servers already? That doesn't make sense. Doesn't even repair the Hellions, just uses the medevac energy to heal them up. It actually makes perfect sense because repairing does cost some money. And he doesn't actually load up the 4s, he actually does load up Hellbats. Only one in this medevac, which is a small mistake. I think it should have been 2. So, small mistake there, but some Hellbat drops moving around the map. Keeping the 4s at home for the moment. I don't know if I like that. I actually think I'd prefer to see the 4s on the map because they really are the units which can get quite a bit of damage done. So, I guess we'll see what continues onwards as we're going to be seeing the couple of Queens shoving on top of that medevac here, which comes through towards the upper side. And those drones just long distance mining off of the 4th base that's coming through. Obviously, that'll be a little bit more active here in the near future. If Roach speed on the way up as well, about 75% of the way along. We are also going to be seeing that infestation bit dropping down. And yeah, just continue to see what happens next. Another couple of Vikings are still on the way through from uThermal as they'll be able to take them, take down a couple of Overlords. Maniac in the chat says the creep spread is excellent, and it really is. Like, it's absolutely crazy. Like, so much creep out through the center, the top, and the bottom. He has really good creep, and the one thing that uThermal hasn't done with his opener is clean out any of that. So, even though the Hellions won the map, they didn't shut down many creep tumors early, and he hasn't got anything to really shut down creep tumors now either. 2-2 upgrades coming through from Denver here. uThermal is once again just sitting back somewhat passively until the Zone 2-2 and larger army kicks in. An infestation pit came down, but it's not a hive. It is Swarm Host that on the way up, and that's kind of cool. Because Swarm Hosts are not the most usual of choices nowadays against mech. We had a phase where people used them quite a lot, and we still see them mixed in now and then. But it really isn't kind of the most popular choices. Usually we do just see kind of the tech up into Hydras and start to try and fight the mech army with Blinding Clouds and all the rest of it. Extractor going to get taken down as that falls. Another Extractor's going to be in some trouble. I love that he rebuilds this Extractor, or at least tries to, but the drone gets taken down in the process. This Queen's going to drop, and that should be the end of this full harassment. Again, just imagine those double 4 here. He could have gotten so much done. I really disagree with pulling those Hellbats across the map initially, but again, maybe he was afraid of a counterattack, in which case the 4s at home could have done a lot more. As we are going to be seeing the few extra Swarm Hosts still on the way out. This 4 drops back down. I mean, killing off another Extractor. The more gas he denies, the less gas obviously Denver has to work with, aka the less kind of useful units he's going to be able to build here. Comes back into the main, looking for yet another Extractor here. And there it is, one Extractor going down, and maybe another in a moment or two. Ravager takes a couple more shots. Corrosive Bars actually might hit on this 4. Oh, just managed to get him by just before those Corrosive Bars came down there. Just making something happen. The Widowmine has currently found these Swarm Hosts, by the way, and is currently hunting them down. Looks as though this entire army's found the Swarm Hosts, and uThermal moving forwards, maybe looking to try and force a bit of a fight. Both players are maxed out, though. Have to be careful when fighting a Swarm Host army. Those Locusts will get a lot of damage done. Tanks on siege and scans around. He knows where the Swarm Hosts are. He has the information to keep track of the army. uThermal just has to position himself correctly as this army of Denver continues to relocate. We see the Swarm Hosts starting to come up. The tanks will siege. The Locusts are so far away. As we see, the Hellions are going to drop so far forwards. They're not in Hellbat mode, which means they're not going to do too much against those Locusts. I guess Hellion mode works as well. Now the Hellbats morph in. I don't like this attack at all from uThermal. It's fallen apart, actually. The tanks are going down. The Hellions not in Hellbat mode did absolutely nothing. As those Vikings drop down, we're going to be seeing a few of these Ravagers getting cleaned out. I mean, I say a few, actually quite a lot. The Vikings have probably been one of the most effective things of this entire fight for uThermal. Cleans up, but I have to say, his bank is drained. He's down 60 supply in Denver. I still really like that fight for him. He cleaned out all of those Hellions. He cleaned out, well, all of the tanks that were in the front lines as well. Big play by Denver, who now has the Swarm Host to counterattack with and keep up the pressure. If you get a little bit of kind of momentum going your way for the Swarm Host player, it's very possible you can keep that momentum up very easily. If your Locusts drop down and start hitting on a few of those units, the rest will dive down once they reach the space, so they're guaranteed to be in range of the mineral line here, of the orbital command. 5, 6, 7 workers going down already, and that orbital has continued to take a little bit more damage. 9 workers killed. I mean, the orbital just about survives. At the same time, though, he's on the right-hand side with roaches and ravagers. Has to try and protect this orbital command. Ravagers might try and pile it down again, but it did get repaired up well enough. But losing access to his 4th base, while the 3rd base also gets denied from mining, is not a pretty couple of moments at all here for uThermal. In fact, this is quite awful for him for the last couple of moments, although this is amazing. He finds himself the swarm host. They're going to come off cooldown here, but with a bunch of Hellbats, what are you even going to kill? Well, he jumps on the 4. Probably the best way he could have gone with the Hellbats. Now the Vikings are going to hunt down the swarm host. He's going to try and block them off to the top side. He lands them. It's not quite in a position to block them, though. But a few of them just sit here, so you will lose a couple. Vikings will lift back up as the Ravagers arrive. What an exciting couple of moments, backwards and forwards between both of them here. Corrosive Bars continuing to drop on down, but not connected on anything just yet, as we are going to be seeing +3 missiles and +3 carapace continuing to come on through. Well, the upgrades continue from both players, because actually uThermal's +3 is about to finish up. There we go with Denver coming down the right-hand side. Once again, this base in some trouble. The tank siege up. Actually, it's a very deep tank line, and only really going to be able to kill a couple of tanks at most here as uThermal, as Denver. So he shuts that down as actually racing forwards. He's going to find himself yet another few Ravagers. And in fact, the entire Zerg army's just been cleaned up over the last couple of moments. Swarm hosts no longer able to put themselves in position to kind of use their Locust waves aggressively. And uThermal, after a really awful fight, has found himself way back in this once again, as Hellions currently cleaning up a few of the Hydras that are starting to pop out. A lot of roaches in production. Swarm hosts to the top side off cooldown. Let's see what they can do here as we see now the tanks begin to siege. Yes, be so careful of the Locusts, though. They're about to swoop on in. And as the Locusts come in, the Roaches and the Hydras should try and make something happen as well, because the Hellbats even have to come back and fight those Locusts. The tanks do target the Roaches down. The Locusts have been a good distraction. The Vikings dropping as well as uThermal tries to fight this position in the center of the map. Hydras pushed away for the moment, though, and they have to be a little bit cautious now in terms of coming up this round. The Locusts on cooldown means that maybe uThermal can grab himself some kills here, and the Hellions are going to do a fantastic job of chasing them. There's triple Swarm hosts being killed. He's going to get 2 more at the very least, and I don't know if Hydras are the right thing to respond, because that could have been a few Hydra kills as well. They're so vulnerable to the bonus damage those Hellions do, especially with that pre-infernal igniter upgrade. The Blue Flame, so good against Hydralisks. Well, we do see here these couple of units going to load up into Medivacs now, and well, has to be getting ready to defend against the Locusts once again. Back off cooldown. Roaches, Ravagers, and Hydras try and make something out of this fight. A big concave from the right-hand side, and that's going to be painful. uThermal tries to drop some Hellbats on top of the units on the upper right of this, but it's not going to be enough. And so the Roaches and Ravagers are looking as though they'll break on through. Denver breaks all the way through the center of the map, and these few Medivacs of uThermal have to continue coming back down towards the lower left-hand side. A couple of tanks firing away. Those Roaches and Ravagers pushed off away from this now, and Denver continue to come around the left-hand side and looking to see just what else he can get up to with this set of Swarm hosts here. So Swarm hosts coming down, going to see some Locusts popping up, and they are going to move down, dropping in towards this base on the left-hand side. I mean, they're going to get themselves a good few SCVs, and suddenly back on the aggression. I think this is the best position Denver can be in as he dives on in. That command center is going to die to the corrosive bars. uThermal, he'll turn to repair. Is it in time? It is. He'll keep it alive for the moment. So many SCVs dropping already, 17 of them. And he barely even had anywhere to mine from as uThermal is so low on money. Zero Inca, zero money there for a moment. He just doesn't have bases mining at all. This base is going to burn down. The SCVs aren't in position to repair it. Oh my god, they're coming. Oh, he saves on like 4 HP, but some units rally into the center of a map. A siege tank, a couple of Hellions, all going down right here. And Denver is getting ready to dive on in to try and take this base yet again. A few Roaches to the left-hand side, a couple Locusts going to dive on top of a siege tank. That's an efficient trade. 2 Locusts get a siege tank thanks to the friendly fire. It's absolutely amazing, honestly. Well, these Locusts going to drop down the center once again. Roaches and Ravagers. Hydras 2 continuing to move around a little bit left and right, unsure exactly where they want to commit to. Locusts are going to be dropping in a moment or so. Couple of Vikings coming over, and we are going to be seeing a couple of siege tanks getting picked up. Continue to push on in. We're going to be seeing those SCVs are pushed back. The orbital goes down. Sensor tower picked off as well. And we are going to be seeing uThermal in this position right now where, realistically, he is in so much trouble. He's barely mining. He has this base over here, which is a full base of income, but he doesn't even have the gases up. He's got a little bit of gas in the bank for now. He just needs minerals. Moving his natural or main base orbital over in towards this 4th location again. Hellions, Hellbats. Oh my god, there's just units all over the place. Denver's diving on in between the kind of units, and he's just going to keep on killing off so much here. The Locust Wave is going to get so much done. uThermal had a great opening to this game. Had a really bad initial fight, and then he had a great follow-up, but he just hasn't been able to keep his bases up. He hasn't been able to keep the income rolling, and that's really hurting him here as the game continued onwards. Meanwhile, Denver, we haven't even looked at his side of the map for so long, but he's got so many bases just mining away so happily. He's uncontested. He can rebuild as he needs to. He's had these swarm hooks consistently up. And uThermal, just a couple of fights here and there that didn't quite go his way. That really gave Denver the momentum to start getting damage done, to shut down bases especially. And the shutdown of bases, I think, is one of the most important things that's happened, because without the 5th base, uThermal has struggled as Denver's continued to go uncontested on his own expansions. That's game right there. Denver takes it game number 3, and he takes the series 2-2.